Hey guys, Rich here, Finn's Garage. How you guys doing? Today we have a 2026 Street Glide, brand new, in here for a 1K service. So we're gonna get the 1K done, get all fresh fluids. At Finn's Garage we use AMSOIL oil, so customers specifically wanted AMSOIL, which works out great. So we're gonna get the 1K service done, get all the fluids, run through the entire service, but then also this bike is getting a brand new complete suspension, the back, the front. We got the RWD RS2 rear suspensions. I haven't personally rode on these, but I heard great things. All the feedback on this suspension for the rear is awesome. So we're gonna get these installed, get these set the preload, set the sag. So then in addition to the back, we're also installing the cartridge, also by RWD. This is the RS-1F. So it's full cartridge installation. You basically got to disassemble the forks, take all the old internals out, slip these in, put some new fork fluid in there. Again, set the preload. What's really cool on these, if you can see, this has 8 adjustments of preload from the top, so you can set these externally. Some of the older cartridge models, I'm not mentioning other names, brands, but the older models, you had to set the preload internally. So in order to do that, if you wanted to make any adjustments, you had to disassemble the forks. So again, this is all done externally, which is a great setup. So you have 8 adjustments of preload on these. And yeah, so soft to firm. Again, never rode on a bike with this suspension, but I heard really great reviews about this RWD setup. So stay tuned. Let me bang out the 1K service, and then we'll start tearing it down. Get the bags off, start the back, get the back done, and then after that we'll bang out the front. So stay along, watch this tutorial. There isn't a lot of tutorials on the RWDs. There's a couple of reviews, but not in-depth installation. So stay tuned for that. See how it's all done, and yeah. So yeah, let's bang this out and see how it goes. Also on the rear suspension, I didn't mention this before, this one's actually, on this preload, there's 12 different settings of preload on this. The front has 8, but you have 12 different settings. So we have some recommendations from RWD of what the customer wanted to feel and his riding experience. So they came set, and I validated the preload setup. So they're set to what the customer wanted, and obviously as he rides he can tweak it. Again, these are all externally, just like the fronts, so you can make adjustments on the fly. So all right, stay tuned. Let me bang out this 1K on this Street Glide 117, and then we'll get to putting all the goodies on. All right, be back in a few. So on this bike, the stock suspension's held on by 3/4 inch bolts. So once you get that supported, you get it where there's no compression on the fork. You basically undo those 2 bolts right there. Let me try to get you in over there. And you always start from the bottom first, just so you can get some free. So we got the bottom bolt out. This creates play on this suspension. You don't have any pressure on there and whatnot. All right, so we got the bottom bolt out, and that allows you to swing this up right here. So once you get that off there, just continue taking the top bolt out. I got this pretty loose already, and then just basically unthread it, and the stock suspension comes right out. That's your stock suspension. Now on this setup with the RWD RS2s, we're going to reuse the stock bolts. We don't have to use the washers because these have their own set of washers here. So we're going to reuse these. We'll put blue Loctite on these and reinstall. So on your RWD RS2s, what you'll notice, you'll have a side that has a C-clip in there, and you'll have a side that doesn't. So what you have to do is it comes with O-rings, and it comes with its own washers. So what we're gonna do is put the O-rings on the side that has the C-clip, both top and the bottom, and then we'll put the spacers on there, and we'll thread in the top, and then we'll bring the bottom into alignment. We may have to raise the bike up or down just to get that in there. So let's do that right now. So We got an O-ring for the top, and this basically just fits right in there, just like that. We got another one for the bottom, and then we have 2 sets of spacers. So what we'll do is, let me get some blue Loctite on this bolt. And then we got one side of the spacer, so we like to thread it through here just so we have it in there. And this will be our top side. The side with the O-ring is going to be inboard here. So we'll feed this through here with the spacer there, and then we'll put the other spacer on the other side. So it should look like that before you install it. So you got the stock bolt, spacer, O-ring, spacer here, and then we'll just do the top side right first, and we'll start to thread it in here. You don't want it tight right now, you just want it loosely threaded so we can align and check the height of how this is right here. So based on where this is, we may have to bring the bike up just a little bit. We're just setting our alignment with the bolt that it aligns with there. So we'll get the bottom half prepped, we'll put blue Loctite on here. One spacer, and then we're going to have the other spacer that we're going to put on the other side. Throw some more blue Loctite on here. So again, bring it up like this. Make sure that O-ring doesn't fall out. Spacer there, spacer on the other side, and now we'll set and we'll drive this one home. And again, to get this to catch, you may have to just raise the jack support up or down just to set that spacing on there. So I have them both on there aligned up, so we'll tighten them down. We're not going to go full torque right now. We're just going to get them set, make sure the spacers and everything line up good, and then we'll finalize and torque them down. Again, get that one in there, get the top in there. Just snug, and then we'll check our alignment and make sure everything looks good. All the spacers are in there where they should be. So once you have that set, we'll come back and we'll do the final torque. The torque on these bolts is 63 to 70 foot-pounds. So we'll go right in the center at 65. So we got the top torqued, and then we'll come back and do the bottom. Again, 65 foot-pounds right in the center. All right, so we got this side in. We'll set the, once we'll do the other side, then we'll set the sag. We already got the preload set where the customer wanted it. So these again have 12 points of adjustment. We have it set right where he wanted it based on his riding style. So again, it gives him the flexibility of adjusting it externally if he wants to. So yeah, we're gonna do the same exact thing for the other side. It's the same exact process. Take your 2 bolts out, reuse the stock bolts, use the supplied washers and O-rings, blue Loctite, and 63 to 70 foot-pounds. And then we'll set the pre-load, and then we'll set the sag based on the rider's weight. And basically you basically just turn the springs, and that's how you set the sag. So we'll adjust that when we get the bike back on the ground. So that's it for the back. Back's pretty much done. Stay tuned when we tear apart the front. Front's going to be a little bit more involved. We got to take the front tire off, take the fender off, get the wheel caliper off, pull those forks, and I'll show you how to install the cartridges. So yeah, stay tuned. Be back shortly. All right, got the fork and the vise. We're going to impact off the 12mm bolt that's holding this all together. So this is under a little bit of pressure, but we'll get that out of there, and then we'll drain all the fluid, get that out, and then start rebuilding it. Then with Terry's assistance, we just let it drain. Thanks for stopping by, Terry. And to help get the fluid out, we'll just push this up and down a couple times, let it bleed out. So while that's draining, what we'll do is we'll pop this cap off. This cap is under a lot of tension. Not as much since we got the fluid draining, but it's still going to be on these spring tension. So this is a 19mm hex. We already broke it loose when it was still on the bike, so we'll crank that off. What I like to do is put a rag, just wrap a rag around it, just so when it impacts off, it doesn't kill you. It's like a surprise. Like, when's she gonna blow?
Jacking the box, man.
I feel it. There it is. Not bad. All right, so here we just take our stock cap. We're gonna have our stock spacer, and all of this will not be reused. So for now, just gonna throw it over here to the side. Get a little pick, compress this up as far as you can, and we'll pull the spring and washer out like this. So you got your stock washer, and then this spring's going to be a little messy. Since this bike's only got 1,000 miles on it, the fluid's nice and clean and red. If this was a little bit older, the fluid would be nasty, gray, smell like shit. It's like one of the worst smelling type of fluids there is. Worse than ATF transmission fluid.
Just want to drop off the bottom of it?
No, because you got the bushings in there. Okay. All right, so we'll let that continue to drain. We'll dump it out. We still have some internal parts we got to get out of there. We got the bump stop, the spring that we'll reuse, and whatnot. So we'll let that drain a little bit. Be back here shortly. All right, guys, we got the internals out. So this is the internal piece inside the stock fork tube. This will not be reused. The only thing that gets reused on these cartridge is your stock spring. So any Touring models from 17 up uses the stock spring. If you have a Touring that's older, so the 16s, the 2016s back, it's going to come with a special spring. But this is the spring that's going to get reused. So we got it all apart. We're going to clean it out with brake fluid, get it all clean, drop the new cartridge in there, put some fluid in there, get it back on the bike. All right, guys, we got the fork tube all cleaned out. Everything's ready to put the cartridge in here. So this is that spring that we're going to reuse, so we'll just drop this in here, just as so. That's in there like that. We got our cartridge. We already got the preload set to what the customer had wanted based on his conversation with RWD. So this just sits in there. We got the stopper that's in there, and this will just align. It will go around the spring and sit in that stopper. And that's it. So while that's in there, we'll get our new drain plug and crush washer and get that installed. Again, always use a new crush washer. You don't want to reuse crush washers. They won't seal properly, you'll get leaks, and you won't have the proper amount of torque. So just cleaning up the bolt. The bolt you can reuse. These are not one-time use bolts. So got our new crush washer, got our bolt in here, and we'll just start to thread it just so we can get it to seat. All right, again, your 12mm hex driver, the bolt with a new crush washer in there. Just hold the end of this tube, and we will just get this threaded and just lightly started. We're not going to torque it down yet until we get the top on, and then we'll take this bolt out and fill it with fluid. This is just to hold it in place so we can get the top on. So now that cartridge won't come out. We slide this up. We do have to put a little pressure on here to get this started to catch. All right, we got this threaded, so now we'll just hand thread it down and then we'll torque it down once it's in the vise and we get the fluid in there. And that's it. It's pretty straightforward. These do require a 1/4 inch spanner tool to tighten up the top. You don't have to torque them in. You just want them nice and snug. Get it down there to seat and then just snug it in and then we're good to go. So here's our spanner, 1/4 inch spanner. Not sure why they used this design, but they did. And these new caps from RWD, they come with an O-ring on them, so you don't have to get a new O-ring or use your stock ones. Comes with an O-ring already on there. All right, we got the fork back in the vise. We got all the cartridge installed, bottom's in there. We flip it upside down. That's when we're gonna reinstall the fork bolt with a brand new crush washer down in here to get it in there. All right, this cartridge, what this calls out for the R&D suspension, it actually comes with the kit, the Maxima fork oil. So it calls out for 6 ounces. This oil is not intended like on a stock Harley application where it's used to help the compression. This oil is strictly just made to, you know, lubricate the cartridge inside and all the gears inside right there. So we got a little funnel in here. We'll get the 6 ounces in there and then we'll plug it off and then it's ready to go back in the bike. Yeah. All right, so once that's in there, you want to torque that to 30 to 37 foot-pounds. All right, so we got this torque down. Again, this torque's 30 to 37 foot-pounds. So we got that in there. Hey guys, Rich back. We got the fork filled with the 6 ounces of fluid, slid the fork back into the bike. One thing to note, I had to call RWD when I was trying to set the height with the stock height. These forks with the cartridge inside are gonna be a little shorter than stock. So if you try to use your fork as a reference point, it's gonna be too short. So based on their advice, we want to install the fork and the cap where it meets the fork tube is flush with the top mount. So we got this installed. We're going to torque it down and then we'll jump on the other side. So the torque on these pinch bolts are 15 to 18 foot-pounds. And what you want to do is you got 2 lowers and you got 1 top. So we do the top lower first, bottom lower, and then come back and do the top one there. So we're going to torque them down right now. So torque there, and then we come back and do the top, and just make sure you watch your tank when you do this. You're very close to the tank. And that's it, torqued. Go back, just double check them. Torque. Torqued. Torqued. All right, so one side done. I'm gonna do the exact opposite for the other side. Put the wheel back on, put the fender back on, go for a ride. Yeah, hey guys, Rich here. Just finished up 2026 Street Glide, 1K service. We did the RWD RS2 suspension in the back, and then in the front we did the RWD, the RS-1.F front cartridges. So I tried to capture most of the install. I was underneath a tight deadline to get this bike done. If you guys have any questions about the install, just shoot me a comment. I'll get back to you. Pretty straightforward. Couple things with, you know, setting the forks. Once you
put the cartridge together, put the forks together, it's going to be slightly shorter because you don't have all that play and all that slop that the stock suspension has. So take that to account when you go to realign the forks. So yeah, so again, pretty much straightforward. Going to take it for a test ride, see how it handles. I already took a ride when I did the back, and it was a lot stiffer ride. You don't have all that slop in there, a lot tighter feel. And again, these are fully customizable from the outside as well. You got the back, you can set the sag, set the preload in the back, and then on the fronts with the cartridges here, the preload adjustment firmness setting is on the top. You do have to take off the plastic lower fairing piece that goes around your ignition switch, or the lock switch, but you do have to take that off to gain access to the tops to make that adjustment. So we have it set based on the RWD's recommendation, based on the customer's riding style, so we'll leave it as it is and go from there. So again, hope you liked the video, hope you liked the install. Again, if I missed anything, I did have to rush and I probably did cut some stuff out based on time, but anything, any questions, anything you want feedback on or help, just shoot me a comment, I'll get back to you. With that, gotta go take this for a ride. And again, thanks for everything. Thanks for the support. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment below. Peace.